So coming into consciousness and coming into the nation and growing up in that, which is a pro-black culture, and one that definitely instills nationhood in you and a nationalist kind of mental architecture in you, how did you eventually come to the understanding that we needed a land of our own?
Well, being that we in the Lost Foundation of Islam under Prophet Muhammad, for the last 20 years, I want to say, 18, 20 years, we've had representatives going to the United Nations and the World's Court to petition for human rights, reparations, and just to generally on a worldwide scale get recognition or international identity for black people who were slaves in the transatlantic slave trade. So right. I am, again, very fortunate to have grown up hearing these people speak about what has happened, what they experienced going to Geneva, Switzerland, what they've experienced going to other countries where they had these conferences. And I remember a story where one of the brothers was talking to a delegate from a country, I can't remember where, and he said, "What took you guys so long?" And he said, "Excuse me?" He said, "We've been expecting someone from a black person from the United States of America to come here and request human rights so that we could get the ball rolling for years. And it's never happened until now." So globally, everyone's like, "All right, come on, black man, let's go. All you got to do is ask for it." The Jews said, "I was wrong," and they got land, they got money, they got everything. Whether or not they actually deserved it, completely different issue. But they said those words. They actually put those words out into the atmosphere, and it happened. Of course, it was easier for them because they're white people, but if you don't ask, you'll never receive.
Exactly.
So we, at this point, have written a constitution. We have established a legal name in the World's Court of Afro-descendants, and where black countries around the world have accepted this name and adapted this name so that they are calling themselves not black people, not Afro-Caribbeans, not this, not that, but Afro-descendants. And that's the first step, establishing an identity worldwide on a global scale so that you know an Italian. I'm Italian because that's my identity. That's who I am. So we never had an identity, just the slave. So that was the big part of it. Who are these people? And if the people don't know who they are or what they want, then we're going to leave them alone. Let them, let the chips fall where they may. Because in having a nation, you have to want it. You have to, it's work that goes into having a nation. So if you can't do the simple, task of naming yourself or saying that I'm not an American. I'm not an Afro-American. I'm not a slave. I'm not an ex-slave. I'm not a descendant of slaves. Well, who are you? That was the first step.
Right.
So then it's like, okay, so what's the next step? And going back and forth to, different countries and different meetings and speaking at different committees, and they will always come back and tell us what was going on. And we were able to see that from day one, and they're still doing this till today. And it's not publicized. And no matter how much we try and get it out there, people are like, "Oh, okay, it is what it is." But a lot of people, and I guess it's probably a good thing because it's kind of like we're moving in silence. We don't get much opposition either. So
right.
it's like, you know, and that's the first step. We have to establish an identity. Then we have to say we need money to have our own nation. We need money to have our own nation. Point blank, I don't care what we say we want to do when we could kumbaya and we could say, hey, I love you, brother and sister. Let's sit around and think about it. No, we need money.
Right,
no getting
without
around
a doubt.
it. So our second step is going to be getting reparations. A letter was sent to President Obama demanding reparations. Okay? So after that letter went out, all of these people started coming out and saying, black people don't deserve reparations. What they need reparations for?
Right, including Bernie Sanders.
Exactly. So, you know, that was the second step. And then the third step is going to be a fight. Not so much a physical fight, because I don't think that that's even necessary. Because what the messenger said is we won't have to lift a finger in regards to getting what we are due, you know. But there's going to be a political struggle in order for us to get this money, for us to have our own land. Because with reparations is, a lot of people say, oh, the slaves are dead. But those Jews that the Nazis killed are dead also. But their children, their children's children, their children's children are still getting money till this day.
Right. Absolutely.
So and then from there, we have to come together and make up, you know, we need some land. Where are we going to get this land from? And requesting the money, it was money for us to sustain ourselves for 15 to 25 years.
Right.
Machinery and equipment to get our infrastructure together, to, you know, build whatever we need, you know, pipelines, whatever the case may be, so that we can sustain ourselves.
Right.
Persons who will educate Afro-descendants so that we know how to maintain these things, so that we know what to do, because they're not going to be there forever. So we need this information so that we can get this done. Also, you know, we're going to need vehicles, we're going to need airplanes, we're going to need boats so that we can do our trade and all these other things. All of that information, or all of those needs will have to be met under reparations. So that's where reparations comes in. It's not giving every black person a check, saying, hey, go ahead and pop bottles and buy you some cars. No, it's not going to work like that. That's not what reparations is for. You know, it's to try and make right the wrong that was done. And in doing that, you have to put those people back on their own land. Give them the opportunity and the ability to become whole again. So that's reparations. So in it itself, you know, and then you have black people who feel that these organizations have been around for years and they've done nothing. And the reason for that is because black people they don't have the capacity sometimes to look forward. They don't have the capacity to sometimes to understand the situation as a whole. No country was built in 60 years. None.
That's right.
To be a thriving, you know, member of society where we're doing trade, where we're doing commerce. There's no country that was built overnight, not one.
Right.
So black people have to understand that this is something that's going to take time. It's going to take effort. It's not going to be ready-made. It's not going to be handed to you on a platter. If you want this, you have to work for it. You have to put in your blood, sweat, and tears. And it's not really for us. Our children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren will reap the benefits of our work. So, you know, we're really, really comfortable, and we don't want to forego that comfortability to just you know, go and build something. And that's the mindset that a lot of us have, not thinking, you know, in 10 or 15 years, the way this country is going, your children don't have a future. Your children don't have a future at all. Because they can shoot them right now and say, I was afraid. That's the only excuse a white man needs at today to shoot your child is to say, I was afraid of him.
Absolutely. Which
and
is
that's
abominable.
So if we want our children to be safe, I don't have any physical children, but I have 18 nieces and nephews.
Wow, that's beautiful.
18 nieces and nephews. And I will fight with my last breath to make sure that they're good, to make sure that they are going to be able to sustain themselves, and they are going to know that they are worth it. Our children don't think that they're worth fighting for.
That's very important.
I mean, it's either shut up, put up, or shut up time. That's where we're at.
So let me ask you this, sis, because in a lot of ways, you and I, we both have pretty much the same philosophy. We're part of the BAIO, and we'll get to that in a second. But, you know, we both come from a Nation of Islam construct and have a Nation of Islam background. Do you believe that your desire for a nation of your own conflicts with the message of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad? I know the answer to this, but I'm just lobbing you.
That's his message. That's his message. We were never supposed, if you believe, and we've had this conversation before, but if you believe anything that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us, it was never to stay here. When he wrote books about it, he wrote speeches about it. There's a book called The Fall of America. There's no way he wants us to stay here if he wrote a whole entire book about the fall of this country.
Right.
So,
from the dollar to the education system to everything.
Exactly. And if you know, and I'm the type of person who believes in researching. Do not take my word for it. Do not take my word for anything that I said, because guess what? I'm a human being. And I may have said something incorrect. I may have given you the wrong date. You see, I said 18 to 20 years. I'm not sure how many years it is exactly. I really am not sure. But it was about that time. But you can definitely research it yourself and confirm it. Confirm what I'm saying. And if I'm wrong, you call me on it. Saleema, that's not right. It was actually 19 years. It was 22 years, you know. But I'm giving you a guideline. Look it up. Confirm it. Never believe anything even I say. Don't believe me. Research it yourself. Find it yourself. Figure it out yourself. And that's another thing that the messenger taught us. You don't just believe some man because he said he had some degree or he this, he that. The messenger had a third grade education. And he was able to build a nation within a nation. But he confirmed everything.
Just to back up what you're saying, point number 4 is we want our people in America whose parents or grandparents were descendants from slaves to be allowed to establish a separate state or territory of their own, either on this continent or elsewhere. We believe that our former slave masters are obliged to provide such land that the area must be fertile and minerally rich. We believe our former slave masters are obligated to maintain and supply our needs in this separate territory for the next 20 to 25 years until we are able to produce our own needs.
Exactly.
So it's a separate territory, either on this continent or elsewhere. And that's the biggest flack that you and I get, which is he never said elsewhere, and it's like, oh, word, he didn't.
he said elsewhere. First of all, America is gonna burn. Like, and I'm not at this point in time. There's no more saying things nicely. I remember maybe about 10 years ago, I used to tell my sisters, don't tell them that you're gonna scare. No, you need to be afraid. You need to be afraid, and don't be afraid of the fact that we're not going to be able to live here soon. Be afraid that if we don't do anything to leave here, we have no future.
Right.
So take that fear, wrap it up in a ball, and move on. But we got to get it going. We got to get it going.
Right.
Any person who is listening to this broadcast and can hear my voice, and you have children, it is your obligation. It is your obligation as a parent to want your children to have better, to want your children off of this piece of land.
Yes. Yes, without a doubt. Okay, so let's switch up the pace for a second. What attracted you to the BAIO?
Well, again, I'm very fortunate. Mark Holland is my big brother. I've known him over 20 years, and there's not many things that he's involved in that I don't support. There's not many things when it comes to nationhood and nation building that he's ever mentioned that I don't support. So it was almost common sense to me to become a member. Any time, and I'm a true believer in Black unity.
Right.
I'm a true believer in all of us coming together, whatever organization we're in or whatever, our backgrounds are, that we need to do this together. It's the only way it's going to work.
Right.
So this was a platform where it didn't matter that I was Muslim. It doesn't matter that the next person is Christian or whatever they may be. Their desire is to have our own land, to build for our future. So, it was something that that was really in line with the way I felt about our future.
Got you. Me too. I mean, me having hit them streets for so many years and, donated and worked and stuff like that. Not saying that the person I was helping was throwing my efforts away, because my teacher who passed in 2000 was a very sincere man, and he believed in building first before teaching, which is what I put on my page. However, he did pass in 2000, and, I carried on the mantle, and what I realized is something, I can help people here in America, but I'm spinning my wheels. The ultimate end game is to have your separate territory off the continent of America. And as a person who read that program for so many years, that was ingrained in my soul. But also, as I told many times, my dad have always been saying to me, we need the Israel for Negroes. So when I ran into Kala and Hollip, and they started talking this land infrastructure nationhood business, I said, damn, that's what it means? That's what I was thinking in my head all this time? Because I never was able to put those three words together in my head. So it just made so much sense to me. And, that's the thing that I would like to stress, especially having you on the show, is that the BAIO is not a religious organization. This is a organization united around having a separate territory and independent nation state of your own off the continent of America. Nobody is asking you to give up your religion nor throw it away. We are asking you to put together put forth your skills and your abilities to the cause of getting something of your own and finally controlling your own destiny. And that's what attracted all of us to it. So let me ask you this, because this is the ultimate debate. Do you believe that we can do it right here, or do you believe that we should have a nation of our own?
Like I said, I think everybody pretty much knows how I feel about that. There's
No
absolutely
doubt.
no way. There is absolutely no way that that's going to happen.
Right.
It's the current climate of racial disparities and the way that we are treated as a people in this country doesn't make you want to leave. There's something wrong.
Right.
You know, there's something wrong when you are okay with your children growing up where you have to tell them, you know, I mean, I remember growing up, my mother would say, be safe, make sure you cross the street. When you cross the street, make sure you look both ways, don't talk to strangers.
Right.
Now it's, if the cops stop you, just, you know, do what they tell you to do. Don't upset them. And you should, first of all, you shouldn't have to tell your kids to be afraid of the cops. That's first of all. Second of all, I mean, the things that I think about when I tell my nephews to go out, you know, when they're going out and, you know, it's like you think about, are they coming home? Not bad children, not children who are out fighting, shooting, selling drugs. And if you look at it, none of the black men or the black people who have been killed of late are any of those things.
Exactly. Agreed.
I mean, it's our best and brightest who they are killing by design. There's no way you are killing more college-bound students than you are drug dealers and gangbangers.
Yes.
There's no way.
That's right. That's right.
Sandra Bland was a college graduate on her way to a new position to work in a college. She wasn't a stripper. She wasn't a prostitute. She wasn't a runner. This was an educated black woman who was just frustrated with being accused of something just because of the way she looked. And she expressed that. And they say you have freedom of speech. So she should have been able to say whatever she wanted to say without ending up dead, if you believe what the laws and constitution of this country state. So, you know, I don't know, everybody, we got to take off these rose-colored glasses, because what's really going on, y'all need to open it up. Ain't nothing rose about it. It's dirty and gritty and nasty, and we got to come to terms with it.
Truth be told. Let me ask you something, sis. You know, I know when it comes to men, you know, what it is that may scare them away from nationhood or having an independent nation state, and it's a whole bunch of sorry stuff. What do you think scares sisters away from nationhood? What would scare a black woman who erstwhile would be in an organization that's talking about separation, we got to get away from this devil, all this other stuff, but as soon as you say you should have your own nation, oh, no, hell no, I'm not doing that. I'm staying right here. We built this land, blah, 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 blah. What is it that scares a sister away from the concept of nationhood?
Honestly, this right here is just something that I've noticed in sisters. I don't personally have these feelings. I've never had these feelings. There's a few things. First is the fact that it's the unknown. Women like structure. Women like, you know, they like things in order. This is not going to be orderly. It's not going to be orderly. It's not going to be pretty. It's not going to be clean. You're not going to walk into, you know, you're not going to go wherever we go and have a ready-made home. You're going to have, you know, hopefully your husband or whomever build it, and it's not going to be easy, you know. And not to say that women necessarily have things easy because we don't, but we're used to needing a place to stay or a place to live with our families, going and searching for a house or an apartment, and this ready-made structure is already there.
Oh, my God, little girl.
And,
I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. Listen, that little queen is fine. And that's something, it's the fear of the unknown. Also, for sisters who are not necessarily as established as other sisters, it's, where do I stand in that? What do I do?
Right.
And
I got you.
What's
my place, basically?
Yeah, what's my place? What's my place? And that's one of the reasons why we're stressing to everyone, what is your craft? What do you do? Because no matter where we go, we're going to need that particular skill set.
Right.
So hone in on what you're good at, what you do, whatever that may be, and then you perfect it, master it, and then that right there will put you in the place where you need to be. We need everything. We need everything.
Yes, ma'am.
So it has.
Thank you for saying that.
Know what your role is. You know what I'm saying? Find out what you want to do and play your role. Play your role. And it might be best that you master a few things. Don't just sit on one. I know how to do that. I got that down pat. Well, let me go on and move and do the next thing. That way you fit in multiple locations, multiple areas where you'll need your expertise. We don't we don't need your, this is another thing. You are not going to be able to be lazy.
Right. Right.
You will not
Absolutely.
be able to sit there. I don't care if you have a husband and he's willing to be out there and doing, building and moving, and sister, you're going to have to do something. You're going to have to do something. There won't be no TV and Real Housewives of Vain Housewives. There won't be that.
Right.
So you're going to have to be up doing something, whether it just be, getting the kids together or whatever the case may be, and it's going to be back to, for real, it takes a village. And we're going to have to do it together.
Absolutely.
So, there's a few things. There's a few things, but accountability. Accountability.
Did you want to continue with the questions? Do you want to take? Because I think it looks like somebody has their hand up.
Oh no, let's take some calls. That's fine.
Okay, cool. Okay. Caller from the 646.
Oh, it's Shami. It's Saleema's big brother. Other big
My
brother.
man, Max 611. Strikes like a weapon. Peace, big brother. How you?
Peace. I'm good. Just listening to y'all drop jewels.
Well, add on. Is there a question that you want to ask my sister? Our sister, I should say.
No, I know her already. So. But no, I just wanted to add on. She's right in saying that it's going to take years to build anything. That's just the way it is.
No doubt.
Everything has to be in order. So it's it's going to take time and marination and the right people in place to build things.
Right. Yes, sir. That's what we gather on, though.
Yeah,
yes, sir.
Yeah, and y'all both doing a great job. Great show tonight.
Thank you, big brother. I've been wanting to spotlight and feature the sister for a while, and finally, everything came together at the right time. So it is what it is.
Right.
All right, Big Mac. I'll put you back on hold, big brother.
All right. Love you both.
Love
you too, big brother. Peace.
Peace.
Okay. Don't see any other hands up at this time. So let me ask you this question right here. This is sort of a, because I don't think we cover with the crowd some of your professional skill areas. So I guess it's a two-part question. Can you tell the crowd some of your professional skill areas? While I chase this little girl around.
Like I said, most things that I say, I'm not just saying them to sound good. I actually live them. Most of the things that I say, I live.
Right.
By trade and profession, I was a security professional for, I don't know, I'm trying to count the years, probably about 20 years.
Wow. And I can witness that because we've had conversations.
Years. Exactly. I'm talking about, security. I was a security officer. I was a security supervisor. I maintain closed-circuit TVs. I assist with installing security. Just about anything security-wise. My background in the Law Foundation of Islam, I know how to search a person. I know how to find your weapons. If you have it on you, I am going to find it. So,
yes, ma'am.
And in our GCC class, I used to teach the sisters. I would hide items on my body and teach the sisters how to find items that persons have hidden on themselves.
Right,
so that was part of our
which is
training.
Very important.
And that's not something that every GCC class does, but because that was my skill, we used it, we utilized it very well because our security is very important. You never know who is going to want to hurt, harm, or kill whoever. So I'm a very security-minded sister. I look at everything. I've been in meetings where it wasn't even my meeting, and I'm like, I walk up to security. Please watch that brother. Please watch this person. They don't look right. That's just the way my mind works. That's my. I love security. I honestly love security. I really do.
Me too.
That should call me a security geek. I don't know, but anything security gets me happy. So I'm also a trained singer. I sing.
I didn't know that.
I guess that's my girl side coming out. I bake, I cook, but baking is my major. I can take a recipe and do some things with it. So there are sisters who still like to cook and clean and take care of the house, and I enjoy all of that. But I'm still ready to get down if I need to,
Right.
I type about 85 words a minute, something that most people don't do anymore.
For real?
Yeah, probably about that. I remember my supervisor didn't like me. He tried to write me up because I was typing with one hand, but I type about 60 words per minute with my right hand. Just my right hand. That's not even with my left hand. So I can type reading, I was reading incident reports and typing them into the computer system and only using one hand. And they tried to write me up for it, which is crazy. But so, I'm a typist. I love technology. I love I wouldn't say that I'm trained in STEM, but that's something that's probably going to be my new passion.
Got you.
Anything technical, anything innovative, I love it. And I'm ready to just ingest anything like that. But I guess by trade, I'm a security specialist. And, that's about it. I try to be a well-rounded person, I think that's what's important.
Looks like you're succeeding.
A lot of sisters don't know what their niche is, and it doesn't necessarily mean, move from one thing to another. If it's something that you enjoy, and that's what I do. If I enjoy it, I'm going to learn it. I'm going to make sure that I know what I'm doing. I'm going to know what I'm saying, and then I can move on to the next thing. Because the way my mind works, it doesn't just stay on one path.
Right. Me neither.
You know,
and you know,
I love languages.
most achieving people like that though. Oh, that's right. That's right. Talk about that. I'm sorry.
I love languages. I speak 2 languages right now fluently. I need to really bone up on my Spanish because I understand Spanish almost perfectly. I speak it kind of like a Spanish person from the Bronx. So I got to bone up on my Spanish, but right now I'm learning Japanese, and I think I'm going to learn like Hawaiian or something like that. I'm not sure which one, but I have nieces and nephews who speak Spanish, French, Russian, Arabic, Swahili. One is learning Swahili now. One is learning Chinese. So, you know, we like, for some reason, we like languages. So I'll be learning. I'm going to have a few languages under my belt pretty soon. So that's what I enjoy. And, you know, I think that if it's something that you're going to do for your life, you should enjoy it. Don't choose a profession just because it makes you money, because you're going to be miserable. You're going to be miserable with money. Money does not make you happy, you know. So that's just my philosophy on it.
Well, let me ask you this then. A hypothetical situation, because I attacked this on my show, and you're a fellow security practitioner. I'd like to get your thoughts. Okay, so let's just say we had satellite communities here, because we will, and we have a nation state off the shores of America. And you have a situation like that, the Oregon militiamen situation, where they occupy federal buildings. How would you deal with that, A, and B, how would you prevent it?
Well, first of all, that was planned, first of all. Second, you can't take over a government building and they're just like, okay, we're leaving, bye. that just don't happen. I'm sorry. First of all, with your government facilities, there has to be security. No one should be able to get into the side door or, you know, the basement or the roof, or those things should be secured, monitored, and, you know, I remember when I went through fire guard training, when these alarms go, there's certain alarms that when they go off, you look at them, of course, but there's certain alarms when they go off, it's like, you know, okay, let's go dispatch an officer right there. Right.
There's levels to it. There's like a level 1 priority.
Exactly.
Right.
So there's no way that there would be an instance where someone would infiltrate a government building if I'm a security officer there. Absolutely not. Or a building that I'm securing, because, like I said, there's certain things that's going to happen. I mean, even if they cut power to the security system or whatever the case, why does that happen?
Exactly.
And that means, and as soon as that happens, you dispatch. You dispatch, and there need to be people at and your officers are to know what their locations are prior to when the day starts, and you do your initial roll call and you give out duties. Those officers know where they go in any case.
Right.
So it's all about the way you train your people. You know, it's all
I
about
agree
the way
with
you
you
train
with
your
plan,
people.
though.
So
I definitely agree with you. I'm sorry, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, because I agree with you. And just to add on, you know, people don't realize that even if you cut the power, usually most security systems are backed up by a robust UPS.
Exactly. So that's why I said that was not. Yeah. That was just
no.
show.
You go ahead. Right, it definitely was. It's like people don't know enough about security. They're just throwing stuff out in the air saying, "Oh, that was a show," but they really don't know what you and I know. Because if they knew what you and I knew, they would really know it was a show.
When I look at some of these things that happen on the news, I'm like, yeah, that did not happen.
Mm-hmm.
That just doesn't happen. Real life, that does not happen. You know, people don't get bombs on airplanes. That just don't happen.
Right.
You know, so, I mean, these things don't happen unless somebody wants it to happen. There's no, oh, we missed it. No. No, absolutely not. And more of us need to be security minded. More of us need to be. I mean, I see people when things happen. I know when I walk down the street, and I've seen it. It's happened to me many times. Where I was in the mall once, and the man had a gun, and for whatever, I don't know if he pulled it out on someone or whatever the case may be. But security just started coming from every direction. And I was like, oh, wait a minute. So I'm like, okay, whoever I was with, I'm like, okay, we need to go the opposite way. Why? What happened? And I'm like, because something is happening. And they're like, you always think something. I'm like, look how much security just came from everywhere. And then they were like, oh, wow. But everybody doesn't think that way. You know,
right?
And then we leave, and it's like, oh, there was a gun scare or whatever the case may be. We have to be, we have to pay attention to our surroundings because you never know what's actually happening around you. You know, police and security officials move in a certain way when something's happening, and it's not something. If you're not trained, you don't see it. You just, it's not something that you see. Military people, when something's going down, they act a certain way. Even if they're not involved in it. You know, they act a certain way. And we need to start that. And that's why the Nation of Islam, that's why they train everyone in some basic security or military training. Because we need to be paying attention to what's going on.
Exactly.
You know,
so you definitely get agreement from me.
I can, go into the general orders. My mind is always on it, though, and there's nothing that I've tried. When I left, when I stopped working in the Bronx, I tried to turn it off almost. I tried to, not be in that security mode and purge my mind of 10 codes and all of these different, and it doesn't work. That's just the way my mind works. Right.
It will be a part of you for the rest of your life, and that's a good thing. Let me see if I can bring some more callers in. Caller from this looks like Kala. Hold on a second. Caller from the 757, bro. Is this you, Kala?
Hey, what's up, brother? Just listen to the call. I'm really, really excited. Hello, Saleema. How you doing?
Hey, Kala. How are you?
I'm doing good. Feeling much better. Done with the coughing. Everything. I'm all healed up.
I'm so happy.
Finally, you do sound like yourself.
Yeah. All healed. Oh yeah. I'm really, really back in top health right now. So gotta live for this. Yeah.
Like anything you want to add on, brother, or ask my sister, our sister?
Of course. Like I was saying, land is the identifier. I believe first, if we get, I coined the term Afristan years ago, right? It was as a placeholder for a name, right? Because when we go over there, you can't be African American, you can't be Haitian, you can't be Caribbean, all this kind of stuff like that. You have to basically say, when you're over there, all the old identities have to go, and you have to become something new. A perfect example is Australia. Australia, you have unlike America, you have white people that came from all over Europe and everything like that. But if you know something about Australia, they're all pretty much homogenized now. Unlike America, where the Anglo-Saxons dominated everything, right? and people pretty much kept their ethnic identities. You got balkanized communities, where people are still, they're white, but they're still Italian, they're still Irish, and all stuff like that. And so you got people voting on ethnic lines, and people straddling the fence. Am I a minority group, or am I white, stuff like that. If you have a thing where if we're all descendants of the transatlantic slave trade, we came from Brazil, North America, whatever, we take on a new name and identify with this new land, right? I do believe we have to have that land as a placeholder. And once we identify with that land and say that's our frontier homeland, it gives us a global position to say, look, if you support us, this is who we are, this is what we want, this is where our location is, this is where we want to build, this is where if you want to get with us. And also it's a Pan-African thing. If you have Africans or Pan-African or that believe in Pan-Africanism, we will be the first Pan-African state. Why? Because unlike Ghana, who basically recently banned all these other African countries because they were being too good competing, we're saying, hey, look, if you're an African businessman, hey, we don't care about you, how much money you make over here. Come join us. See, we have the experience living in America where it doesn't matter what color you are as long as you're black. We're going to take that to the African continent. So we start at an advantage right there. Think about it. The first ever in other words, Africans have these artificially borders drawn up by Europeans. That was 1884, right? That make no sense. And they basically exclude each other based on borders that Europeans created. So we're saying, hey, look, if you want to be part of us, you're a doctor, you're a scientist, an engineer, and you want to come work for us, we'll give you a permanent visa. We'll reserve citizenship for the descendants of the transatlantic slave trade. But if you want a permanent visa to live here, build, teach, whatever, add on, because there's a lot of skill on the African continent. You know what I'm saying? That people, when I look at Africa, I finally realized the term, a mind's a terrible thing to waste. I finally realized that term. Even just looking at us, a mind is a terrible thing to waste. I never understood what that really meant until we basically said, whoa, wow, you got all that land out there, 12 million square miles, completely unoccupied, all the minerals in the world, new markets and everything. All it takes is brain power, all God-given talent. All of us have the capability. But the thing is, you have black people who say that they claim that we're mothers of civilization, builders of civilization, fathers of civilization. But yet, other people prove what they're about. Look at Dubai. That tells you something about ancient Persia, right? Look at China right now. You can tell that something deep inside them produced modern China, modern Hong Kong, Japan, all these countries say, wow, how are they doing so well? Why? Because instead of just talking about what they are, they demonstrate what they are, So we have to have that chance to demonstrate the greatness in our people. If we really know and believe that we're great people, that we have to build this nation. We cannot settle for second class, third class, fourth class citizenship in America, anymore. That ship is sailed.
Real talk. Real talk. Sis, anything to add? Huh?
No, I completely agree with him. I completely agree.
Yes. Thank you.
Okay, Big Color. I'm gonna throw you on hold and see if I can get the next caller, and we're gonna wrap this up. Thank you very much for what you've added and calling in. While I have you on the line, I just want to say because I don't want to forget this, but for all and from all the BAIO, we want to say today, emphatically, that we are. I don't really know how to say this because it's still a shock to me, but I'm just, we just want to give condolences to the family of Queen Afama, and I just don't even know how to, it's like I just seen that Sister post a radio show yesterday, and to be seeing this today is just a huge shock. So I mean, because the thing is,
this must be a mistake. I was like, this must be a mistake.
Me too. It's like. The thing is, I started talking about, okay, we're going to have sisters on the weekends. And I'm like, all right. Well, the first sister came to my mind was Sister Saleema. And then I was thinking about two other sisters. And I was like, eventually, I got to have the Queen on, Queen Afama. And then I hear this, and I'm like, oh, man, because you want to know the God's honest truth is it had been in my heart for a long time to have, Sister Saleema, Queen Afama, as well as Sister Sultanet on at the same time. And I guess I should have acted on that. What you doing, baby girl? So anyway, I just want to say, give my condolences, and she will definitely be missed because she means a lot to BAIO, and it's just devastating to come to wake up and find that out. You know, it's just,
she was the first
let you know how tomorrow's not promised.
She was the first person that embraced us.
Yes.
You know? She embraced us and she took us in. And she was the only person that basically I never would argue with, you know? You know, I was like, okay,
right.
I would debate back and forth. I was so respectful, and she told me stuff, and then like she knew how to be motherly with me and patient and stuff like that. I love her for that, you know. And she was disciplined.
Well, that's what I was getting ready to say. She understood you.
Yeah, she did. She understood me. You know, a lot of people don't. You know, and she knew more about me. She listened to my radio show. She knew more about me than most people do. You know, she knew about my family. She knew about everything. I told my story so many times. You know, and so I'm definitely torn up by this. You know.
Yeah, you and me both, bro. You and me both. All right, big brother, I'm gonna throw you on hold and let's see if we get this last caller, and then let's Sister Saleema say what she got to say. We're gonna get on out of here. Thank you very much for calling in, big brother.
You're welcome, brother.
Caller from the 850. Did you want to say something?
Oh, what's up, brother? This is Brother Jonathan. What's going on, man?
Yes, sir. Everything's good, brother. How you doing?
Pretty good. What's up, Sister Saleema?
How are you? I'm great.
I'm great. I'm awesome. Just sitting here with the family. Grilling some chicken. Got my little baby girl here.
Then you know what it is.
Yeah. She's been running around everywhere this whole weekend. Yeah, this is a great show, man. I'm happy to have the sister on, and it's I think that's really like the backbone, man. Like the sisters.
Right.
That's the best of any organization, and I'm really glad that we could, you know, finally get you guys on and give you a voice, because I think that's what's going to hold us all together. You know.
Yes, without a doubt.
And it, you know, just with what happened today, it's a huge shocker, because we saw her as really our mother, you know.
Yeah. Agreed. Yeah, it's devastating. It's devastating.
Yeah.
You know, it's going to be this day, Sunday, is going to be a good day for us. We're going to have, because I already got commitments from Sister Sultanet as well as Sister Michelle A, who is right now in Accra, Ghana, and when she comes back, she's going to do a show and talk about her experience. So, you know, we're definitely going to get the queens on Sunday, and hopefully Sister Ivy can do one also. But, you know, it was about time. I mean, you know, I'd been talking about this in the chat room for a while, big brother. I just, you know, after, you know, a couple of different things happened in my life, I'm now moving on all the stuff that I've been talking about. And, you know, we definitely wanted Saleema to be the first one because she got that powerful voice.
Right. Well, I mean, we can't really start anything without the sisters, and we don't want to start anything without the sisters, man. Yeah, you guys are integral part any type of development, man. Like on some real stuff.
Right.
You know, you're the ones that facilitate everything.
Right. Well, all right, big brother, I'm going to throw you on hold. Let's just get her final comments, and we're going to get on out of here.
All right. For sure.
Thank you very much, Brother Jonathan. Okay, sis. Any last statements you want to make?
I just want to express to any sister listening that hasn't researched, asked questions, or tried to figure out what having our own land entails. Please do the research. Reach out to me. Reach out to anybody in the organization, any person that you know that has ever mentioned it. Just get the information. Like I said, it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be pretty. Definitely going to be worth it. It's going to be worth it. It's going to benefit generations for us to have our own land, for us to have our own nation, for us to do for ourselves. And without that, we don't have anything. because we're not going to make it here.
That's right. That's right.
That's it in a nutshell for me.
I got you. Well, sis, listen, this was awesome. You were awesome as always. And, Holla just asked me if the show was only 1 hour, and that's definitely my mistake because we should have did like an hour and a half to 2 hours. And that's my mistake because I usually try to push for 1 hour on my own show. I should have definitely gave more time. We will definitely bring you back though if you're okay. If you can, you come back on, we'd be definitely glad to have you. Oh, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. Because what we'll do next time is switch up the topic. We'll get into more of the stuff that you like to talk about. Not that you didn't like to talk about this, but more of the technology stuff and some other things, so that people can get more of a feel of who you are, what you stand for, and why you're so important to us.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. Whenever you need me.
Okay, sis. Thank you very much. You've been a wonderful guest. Oh, man. Hope said he was on the train, so he didn't get a chance to call in. I'm very, very, very sorry, brother. But, all right, sis. Thank you very much for coming on. And I will talk to you sometime in the future. And have a blessed day. Uh-oh.
You do the same. Assalamu alaikum.
Well, sis.